You can't get the business unless you ask for it. And I'm going to show you how and the receipts on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Today is Saturday, May 17, 2025. I'm actually in Rock Hill, South Carolina, coming back from another gig app related opportunity. And before that was a low board based opportunity. And I'm going to show you what I mean by how you can't get the money unless you ask for it. Now, I've talked about this in many Gig Geezer segments. Just check the archive. But the reason why I'm doing it this time, I'm doing it this way, is because I've got to reply to some of these goddamn videos that I've seen in which people are preaching the fucking gospel of thirst. That's what it is, in my opinion. Preaching the fucking gospel of thirst. And guess what y'all are thinking? That's great what these people are doing. Y'all are thinking that because a person gets $1.25 a mile, oh, that's great. Oh, I'd like to learn how to do that. I agree that times are difficult, times are challenging, but understand that it is on you to get the most money that you can out of these opportunities. It doesn't matter if it's a gig app, it doesn't matter if it's a brokered opportunity, it doesn't matter if it's even your cash game. It's on you to get the most money out of the opportunities. Now, some of it is going to be by experience, and some of it's going to be by you getting comfortable with that process. Now, I can't really teach a process of negotiation, but I can give you some examples. Now, the first time I learned about the process of negotiation, or just understanding how to hold your ground to get as much money as you can, it comes from when I worked at a car lot 25 years ago. And the first car lot that I worked at, I actually worked at a couple car lots. I was out there as a lot lizard, meaning that the money that I earned was based on the people that I encountered who came onto the lot. I did not have a customer base. And so when you're a lot lizard, you subject yourself to a lot of abuse. You subject yourself to the abuse from the customer because they're the ones who are wary of you in the first place. It's not the same as if this is a previous customer, someone who done bought from you, where you don't earn their trust. You're trying to earn their trust. At the same time, you're trying to keep the sales manager off your ass, but at the same time, you're trying to earn money for you and more than likely your family. So one of the key things that I learned, there were two things that I learned from that car lot. In fact, the sales manager who mentioned these things to me was a guy named Ray Bissett. And Mr. Bissett said, you can't sell up and you can't get the business unless you ask for it. In fact, it wasn't Ray Bissett who told me that. It was another guy, a guy named Chuck Olson. Chuck Olson had this thick neck like a drill sergeant, but he had the smoothness of Jim Rockford, and I used to call him Jim Rockford. Well, anyway, now I come from a media background. In fact, when I worked at that lot, I was 2 months removed from having written my last story at a newspaper. And so I come in with, the way I carried myself, the way I interacted, the words that I used, my vernacular was all reporter. And yet I'm still having to make this transition. And it took me time, but I learned. Now I know that I've talked nearly for 5 minutes and you want to see what the hell I'm talking about. And by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Now, first example I'm going to show you is this last mile gig delivery opportunity that I'm at here in Rock Hill. The opportunity is paying $51. You don't see many $51 opportunities on these apps. And if you do see $51, it's usually 40 bags of fucking mulch. And so you've got to strain your back lifting 40 bags of mulch out of your vehicle and all. Well, this one paid. It's a few sheets of plywood, a fence, and some other items. In fact, when I come back, I will show you the items in the van. So I've said that this is, I talked about in recent segments that this being mulch season, it seemed like most opportunities are going for anywhere between $30 and $50 tops. I've done one mulch opportunity, and that one paid $50 plus. And then I did one opportunity in which it was garden rocks, and that paid $76. So you're listening. You're listening. I'm looking for opportunities. I'm looking for strategic opportunities in which I'm going to maximize my money. I'm not going out there doing the fucking mulch game for $30, $40 and doing 30, 40 bags. Some may say, well, Geezer, you're just an old motherfucker anyway, okay? And so you're just trying to go the easy way out. No, I'm trying to protect my back, my neck, my arms, but I'm also looking at my pockets and saying, which one is worth my while? And that's something that you've got to do, okay? So one other thing I'm going to tell you, I've said this before. 2 years ago, some of those opportunities in which you had like a pallet of mulch, they were going for $200, $240, $250, even upwards of $300. I've got some receipts. In fact, here's a couple of receipts in which these are orders in which I did that. In fact, there's a couple of opportunities in the Geezer compound. If memory serves me correct, there's one in which I earned my first $2,000 earnings week, and I think it was capped off, it was $10,000 earnings month. This video with the $10,000 earnings month, first time, it was capped off with my doing a pallet of mulch, and it paid $249. So I know that the money's out there. So part of the problem with some of y'all is that y'all not used to the money. You've never seen the money, so you don't know any better. So you may need to listen to some old motherfucker like myself, some old son of a bitch like myself, who has been through many of those wars. So I'm gonna come back with the this last mile gig delivery opportunity, and then I'm going to talk about some other examples in which you're missing out on the money because you're not looking for the business, you're not asking for the business. All right, so folks don't believe that I do what I do and for the money that I earn. So you got there at the front end, looks like 2x4, or actually a 2x4x4. Got a piece of plywood here, some sheeting, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 5 bags of potting soil. All that is 400 pounds, and it's paying $51. Probably the argument. So here's probably the argument. Geezer, you got a box truck, you got a van, you got an F-150. So you can kind of play the game that way. It really don't matter. People with box trucks and vans or F-150s do stupid shit. Okay? That's just a fact. People do stupid shit. But what I'm showing you is the same money, but less work. Now, another argument some would say is that, Geezer, you're old, as I mentioned before. Yes, I'm old. I'm Social Security eligible. I've got a bad shoulder. I've got cobalt and titanium in my left hip. But yet, I'm out here. I'm out here 5 days a week most time. Most weeks 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. And if need be, I'm out here parts of a 7th day. But my point is that you can do better than what you're doing. Yes, the market may affect your selection of opportunities. The market may affect the quality and volume of opportunities. But within those volumes of opportunities, do you have to always stack $15, $30 orders to do the same money? Sometimes. I'll give you that much. But it doesn't have to be the rule. It could be the exception. So, now, it could be the exception. That's if you want it to be the exception. Now, could I employ this same philosophy in other markets? It's possible. But I know that what I've been able to do, at least in this region, because my radius of operation is 100 miles, I've been able to employ this in most parts of the region that I work. So then it does become the onus, the responsibility becomes on you. And if you're not making the money that you think you should be making, you don't have to look too far. Now, the other thing that what I'm going to do next is really give a critique of some opportunities that I've seen online. And this is the whole reason why I'm even doing this segment to Gig Geezer. Again, I am tired of hearing the gospel of thirst being spread on social media. I'm going to show you that you don't have to be a fucking thirsty and make money. You don't have to take those dumbass fucking opportunities to make money. But it's still on you. You can do the dumbass thirsty fucking opportunities, or you may want to try how Geezer go about doing it and others that I know go about doing things. Then you'll decide. Then you can decide for yourself, one way or another. So with that, while I'm at it, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment, the Gig Geezer, or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. And just like that, y'all, I'm done with that last mile gig delivery opportunity. Total driving time was like 15 minutes. Nobody was home, but I put the shit where it should be, rather accessible, and I might call that a hop, stop, and drop. 5 bags of mulch, 2x4x6s. They're not 2x4x4s, but 2x4x6s. One sheet of plywood and some sheathing, and a garden hose. That's easy fucking money. I would venture to say that's easier fucking money than 40 bags of mulch for the same money. So now we move on to the other part of the lesson. Now, this week, as of this moment, about 12:30 today, Saturday, May 17, 2025, I have earned for the month just over $7,350. For the year, I'm just south of $53,000 earned for the year. That's right. But I'm going to give you a small portion of that, at least some of the earnings that I put together for this week, in which I earned over $3,300. And this will apply to the lesson that I'm about to show. Now, you see in this video here, this content creator says, I earned $49 driving 2 miles, delivering about the same amount of paint that I delivered today. $49, 2 miles. That's right, go out there and get that money. 1 pallet of paint. I drove 102 miles and earned $800. That's right, 8 fucking bills. 1 pallet of paint. In fact, I showed in this segment of the Gig Geezer where I picked it up in the box truck and then transferred it over to the van. But the point in this lesson is that I could not have gotten the money that I got on it had I not asked for it. It was a gig app delivery opportunity. The offer amount was $269. Now, there was nobody out there that wanted it. It could have been because of this week being sweep week with the DOT. Folk who were on the box trucks didn't want anything to do with it. Now, yes, I know that we're talking about box truck. It's just the money part. Listen, the fucking money part. That is what's in question. Most other times, some dumbass thirsty motherfucker would have put like $300 on it and would have been thinking of what they're going to say at their praise and testimony service on Sunday. And when they got home, they'd been pimping the walk and grabbing their Johnson about how they made $300. Well, I thought right from the start, $550, and that's what I actually was awarded it, $550. So I'm already ahead. Well, then I was text messaged that, hey, the store is going to be closed by the time you would be scheduled to get there. Can you hold it overnight? I said, of course. And I sent them a text message saying that standard layover is $250. I got a text message saying that, yes, you've been awarded the $250. So that's how I earned $800. It is a case of, if you can't get the business unless you ask for it. You can't be timid. Now, let me give you an example at the car lot. I'm not saying that I was this super salesperson. In fact, I got ran off the car lot because my way of doing business pissed off the sales managers at both car lots. because I didn't go around doing the bullshit games that what they want. If you go into a car lot, you know what I'm talking about. The guy plays dumb. He stalls at the sales desk. He comes back with numbers. He comes back with numbers that are far from what you asked for, or even close to want to be negotiating. And then you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I wasn't like that. I told customers from the start, I'm like you. I've walked away from the dealership too. I'm not going to do that. And that went contrary to what the sales managers want. But what I did learn was, if I'm going to earn the money that I want to earn, if I want to earn business, here's the way it's going to be. And so I would say, okay, I'd come back with these numbers and I'd say, okay, this, and this. And this is our final number. And if I can earn your business, sign here. I wouldn't say anything else. It's kind of the same thing with what I'm talking about. When I've talked about in the past negotiating. I've shown how I've gone back and forth with a broker over email. And that's basically what I did here with that gig app opportunity. I put $550. And if they would have said, hey, somebody bid lower, I would not have gone any lower. I just would have figured that, hey, this one doesn't have my name on it. But compared to but which one sounds better? $49 or $800? Which one would you take? Another example. Same day. In fact, in this same video, now, this is the video that really got me wanting to do something. Now, my man, he's from Houston. So I'm gonna kind of go a little soft on him, but at the same time, I'm gonna speak my mind on this. I feel that it's examples like this is spreading the gospel of thirst. I understand that he does over the road. And so when you're doing over the road, the numbers are gonna be different. I do regional. I work regional. My radius of operation is 100 miles. So therefore, I can pick and choose the opportunities. But even when I do go after an opportunity, I still don't do the norm. Hence, this is the example of what I'm saying. He says that he saw an opportunity about 15 miles away from where he was. The total distance was 220 miles. Let's just use 220 miles. The offer amount initially on the low board was $200. He put in for $300. The broker came back and said $250. Well, I must commend him that he was holding at $300. But here's the point. So he says, now, there's ways how I agree that there's more than one way how you can skin a cat. Apparently his way is kindness. He says, well, if you're looking for a dependable driver, you know where I'm at. And so what ends up happening, he happens to notice the load board about 30 minutes later, and the number and the same opportunity is posted for the $300 that he had initially asked for, because apparently nobody had gotten it. Nobody had nobody was nearby, whatever the case may be. So he calls him up, and the guy says, well, how far are you? And he says, I'm 15 miles away. Well, please, man, can you? I mean, basically, they agreed on the $300, and he said, I got the $1.33. Shit. And I'll say that again. Shit. I would not bid $300 on 220 miles. I wrote that though, given the urgency of it, and that's the way I said it, given the urgency, you could have pulled $425 to $450. In fact, I even go as far as this. I shared this example with my queen, who has seen me through all this, and I asked her, how much do you think I would have asked for? $500. Not out of the realm of possibility either. I told her $425 to $450. Yeah, that's okay. I can see you asking for that. And my queen don't drive. She doesn't do none of this. She's accompanied me on a couple of trips. I'd shared things with her, but even she knows. I know that I couldn't come home to her talking about I took $220 for $300. I couldn't come home to her with that. She'd be asking, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? But my point is, you can't get the fucking business unless you ask for it. I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback, okay? So let me give you my example. Yesterday, I looked at a load board based opportunity from a broker whom I've done a lot of business with. I've described this broker. I've never given the name of the broker, but I've described the broker. They had an opportunity that was 200 and it was showing for 200 miles. 200 and let's just say 210 miles. They were offering 300. And I called about it. I spoke to one of the brokers, and he said they're looking for 300. I said, man, I'm looking for more. Yeah, I know, man. Well, I know that there's another load coming out of South Carolina later in the day. You might want to look out for that one. So that's what I did. And so there was one that come out. Hence, from Welford to Charlotte. Welford to Charlotte. Greenville to Charlotte is like 80 miles. 2 years ago when I first started, I took a run like from Charlotte Airport to Duncan, which is literally next door to Welford, for like $1.85. And I thought I did something because I didn't know what the fuck I was still doing. Okay? And maybe I still don't know what the fuck I'm still doing. But I was still early in the experience of negotiating for brokered opportunities. Well, this time I asked for 350. Don't matter if the fuck it was a box truck, because I've done similar runs like that out of the van for 300. But I asked for 350. The reply email I got was, "Are you okay with the specifications and all with this run?" I said yes, and I gave them an ETA of when I would be there to pick up. They said rate confirmation is coming. And that's it. Now, the catch with that one, as I mentioned in this segment of the Gig Geezer, was that I was supposed to be dock high. So that implied that I needed to have had a 26-foot box truck. But because of the measurements of the pallets, these are lightweight fucking pallets, 90 pounds each. I went there expecting that someone could come out with a forklift. And even if they didn't and I had to go to the dock, there was a way that I would have rigged it up where they could have slid the pallets into the box truck, which is basically what I did when with that pallet of paint that I got $800. But my point is, $350, 80 miles, $350. Which one? It doesn't matter if it's a fucking box truck or a Sprinter van, because there are dumbasses in box trucks that are taking it for the same type of money. Dumbasses, yes, dumb fucking asses out there doing 220 miles for $300. Yes, they are out there. A lot of them, in fact. But which one sounds better? 220, 300, 80 miles, 350. You make that decision. So then you ask, how then do I do it? I've said it already multiple times. If you can't get the business unless you ask for it. All right? I'm going to close with two more examples from this week. They're both gig app based opportunities. The first one was like for about 110 miles. I called myself trying to save face for a fucked up opportunity. In fact, I mentioned in this segment of the Gig Geezer. But I got it. I happened to put in for it for $250, and I got it for $250. The second one, it was like almost 110 miles. In fact, the offer amount on that first one was like $130, and I put in for $250. Most dumbass thirsty motherfuckers will probably put $150 on it and be happier. Let me put it like this. They would be preparing themselves to cut a jig in the Sunday praise and testimony service, and especially if they got 200 on it. Okay, but I asked for 250, and that's what I got. Same thing happened with the next one that I'm about to show you. About 110 miles. Offer amount was really $100. On that one, I put in for 300. Eventually, it was assigned to me. Not once did I flinch. That's right. That's the way you fucking do business. Now, I can't say that I'm at the absolute top of the earnings ladder, but I'm certainly not at the bottom. That's for damn sure. There are people who earn more than me. There are people who have better earning opportunities because of the equipment that they have or because of the opportunities that they have. But I have made what I've got work for me. And that is the impartation that I have for you in this segment of the Gig Geezer. I would be remiss if I didn't point out these things in this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. Now, Again, I get the argument that what you're trying to do is stay rolling. Depending on what it is, you're trying to stay rolling, or you're trying to roll. And so you're trying to make things happen. But if you're out here day in and day out, I'm out here day in and day out, I got to make it worth my fucking while, man. I've got to make it worth my while. And the only way I know how to make it worth my while is to try to command the money that I'm looking for. It's as simple as that. And really the first time that happened for me was like around November of 2023. So my authority had been active for like 9 months. Okay. And there was an opportunity in which I believe it was like a Charlotte run to Atlanta, 240 miles. I asked for like $400, $450, and I got it. I'm like, ding. Okay, if I ask for that, well, I need to start asking for it next time I see something. And the time after that, and the time after that. That's how I was able to start talking in the Gig Geezer archive about not just accepting $1 a mile. In fact, I'll go as far as say, don't accept $2 fucking a mile. I do things based on the opportunity, and it's more so based on the opportunity that I'm asking for the money. It's as simple as that. There's certain places that I go, certain runs that I do. That's the dollar amount that I'm looking for. And with certain brokers, they know that's what I'm looking for. So it's a question of, are they willing to pay me if they call me or if I call upon them? Simple as that. This is not arrogance, y'all. This is not me puffing my chest out and for my sake walking around on my toes, pimping my walk and grabbing my Johnson. No, it's not about that. I am just simply tired of hearing the gospel of thirst and folk clamoring to that shit. They're just fucking clamoring to that shit, man. And I'm saying to myself, these people could make more money than what they're talking about. It's a matter of what you want to do. And so again, I keep saying, if you can't get the business unless you ask for it. That's what Chuck Olson told me, man. Chuck Olson said, you can't, if I can get you to this number, can I earn your business? And he'd give you a smile like Jim Rockford, man. That's right. And I saw Chuck close a lot of my first deals at the car lot, man. That's right. Chuck may not be around, but I saw him do that. He was good at it. And I kind of worked from there. And it's the same thing, and it's the same thing with delivery and transport. Even if you have the cash game, same thing with the cash game. I saw some young couple, content creators as well. They're in the junk removal space. They said you got whatever you're asking for, you got to ask with confidence. You got to be confident what you're asking. You can't be timid. This is not for the fucking timid. This is not for the weak at heart. This is not for the faint of heart. Okay? I didn't come from a wealthy background. I come from the hood, man. I come from 3rd Ward. I lived in South Central. Okay? I don't know what it's like to vacation on the French fucking Riviera and all that. I don't know those things. But if you base what I've done compared to the industry standards and all that stuff, I've done way better than average. And one of the things that I learned again is that you just can't accept what they throw at you. You just can't. Because if you do that, you give them leverage and they'll use it against you. And hopefully with that, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.